Imagine you wake up tomorrow with just enough food left for one last meal. That's it. After that, nothing. No store to run to, no neighbor to borrow from, no harvest coming. Just you, your child, and a small handful of flour slowly running out. What would you do if a stranger walked up to you in that moment, not to help you, but to ask you to give that last meal to him? Welcome back to our journey through the Bible. This is the story of Elijah and the widow of Zarephath, a story about a woman with nothing, a prophet on the run, and a God who provides in ways that defy every earthly calculation. Israel is in crisis. King Ahab has led the people into worshiping Baal, a false god they believed controlled the rain. So God sends a message through the prophet Elijah. There will be no rain in Israel, and just like that, the sky closes. For 3.5 years, a devastating famine grips the land. God sends Elijah not to a palace, but to a foreign widow in a city called Zarephath. He finds her gathering sticks at the city gate, just as God said he would. Elijah calls out, "Please bring me a little water in a cup." She turns to get it, and then he asks, "Please bring me a morsel of bread in your hand." She stops. And what she says next is heartbreaking. "As the Lord your God lives, I do not have bread. Only a handful of flour in a bin and a little oil in a jar. And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks that I may go in and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." She has no bread. She has just enough for one final meal. She has already made peace with the end. And into this moment, Elijah speaks, "Do not fear." Then he gives an instruction that must have sounded absurd. "Go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me. And afterward make some for yourself and your son. Give to me first." Can you imagine? A mother watching her child starve, and this stranger asks her to use her last flour to make him a cake. But Elijah follows the request with a promise. "For thus says the Lord God of Israel, the bin of flour shall not be used up, nor shall the jar of oil run dry, until the day the Lord sends rain on the earth. The bin of flour will not run out. The jar of oil will not run dry." And now everything depends on one question. Does the widow believe it? She could have said no. Her duty was to her son. But something shifts. She goes. She gathers what she has. She prepares the flour. She pours the oil, and she makes a small cake for Elijah first. Then she makes food for herself and her son. And she looks down at the bin. The flour is still there. She looks at the oil jar. It is still full. Her eyes widen. The bin is not empty. She reaches in again the next morning. Still flour. The oil? Still there. For days, then weeks, the flour does not run out. The oil does not run dry, just as God said. This story is ancient, but it speaks to something very human. Most of us have stood where that widow stood, not facing physical starvation, but standing at the edge of our own scarcity. A depleted bank account, an exhausted body, a season where we think, this is not enough. And into that moment, God often makes what seems like an unreasonable ask. Give generously, when you feel you have nothing. Trust me when you can't see the supply chain. The widow's act was a deliberate, costly, terrifying choice to trust a promise she had no earthly reason to believe. And that is exactly what God honored. Notice, God didn't fill her bin to overflowing. He gave just enough day by day. He didn't remove her from scarcity. He met her in it. Take from this story, generosity is most powerful when it's costly. The widow gave from her last, and that's what made the gift mean something. Faith is an action, not a feeling. She acted despite her fear. Faith is moving forward in obedience when doubt is still sitting loudly in the room. And third, God's provision is personal. He is most clearly seen as provider when what we have makes no sense for how long it lasts. You may be in your own widow moment, looking at what you have and thinking it's not enough. But maybe the invitation is the same one Elijah offered. Do not fear. Trust the promise. Take the step. And see what God does with what you have left. If this story spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more stories that are ancient but still alive today. Thanks for watching.